First, we determined that we did not need to take a shower inside the van. We use external showers for that or other facilities. Since we don't need a shower, we don't really need hot water. If you need a little bit of hot water, you can cook it on the stove. Need a lot of hot water, you can use a solar water bottle hung outside in the sun. So we decided that the left side of this faucet would be connected to our 10-gallon potable water tank underneath the vehicle and pumped up to the faucet via the 12-volt water pump. The right faucet handle, when you turn it on, you get pressurized water from an RV hookup. So this way we can have either boondoggle, local water, or we can get water from an RV connection. We also have installed underneath the van a 16-gallon gray water tank. This will get rid of our sink water. For an RV park, we can't just drain it on the ground, so we'll store it in there and drain it through the normal drains at an RV park. In order to maximize the storage space underneath the sink, we use very tight plumbing. The drain is all very tight, and the PVC pipe adapts through a shark connector on-off valve to each hose feeding the sink faucets. As the plumbing passes through the lower sink counter storage area, it passes through the floor. Once again, we kept the pipes as close to the wall as possible. We had to bring the drain out a little bit because of the substructure of the van underneath. Couldn't go straight down against the wall, so it came out a couple of inches, but we still have a lot of storage space. It's not hindered very much by this plumbing. Here you can see where the plumbing penetrates through the floor of the van, and you can notice that we have the front of the spring leaf right there in that area, so it's a very tight area. That's why the drain had to be moved away from the wall up inside the cabinet. Behind the passenger side spring shackle, you notice there's a T in that pipe, and that plumbs up to the 10-gallon potable water tank. That pipe serves two purposes. The electric water pump draws water from the potable water tank through this pipe when the pump is running. Notice the springs to keep the hoses from collapsing. When you're at an RV park, you can fill the water tank, the potable water tank, by using this same pipe which goes across to the driver's side of the van. We'll see that in a few minutes. Because this tank is vented, you can use a garden hose, not worry about damaging the tank with too much pressure. Here you can see the vent on the gray water tank, and the freshwater tank has the same vent setup. They still need to have screens put over them to keep bugs out. That'll be done shortly. The tanks are held up in place by these 1.5-inch aluminum 1/8-inch angle iron pieces, and the bolts go up through rivet nuts into the subframe of the floor. And as you can see, we used 1/8-inch rubber stripping to insulate the tank from the metal so it doesn't rub the tank and wear a hole in it. We can only get carriage bolts that long, so we had to use double nuts to turn the carriage bolts into the rivet nuts. It all turned out just fine. Because RV parks always have the water connections on the driver's side of the van, that turned out to be a problem trying to get past this exhaust pipe, because the exhaust pipe is the same height as the bottom of the gray water tank. So to drain it, we couldn't go above the exhaust pipe. We had to go below the exhaust pipe. And this is a temporary cobbled up mess here that looks like a white piece of paper, is actually aluminum shielding to keep the heat from the exhaust pipe from melting the PVC. What we're going to do is on order, hasn't arrived yet. We're going to put a rubber 90-degree fitting in place of this lower part. So the PVC will actually stop right here, and the rubber will continue on down and around the heat shield. And that way if we hit something, it'll tear the rubber and it won't break everything up. Here's a picture of the 1.5-inch gray water gate valve, and the plug right here gets removed and we screw in a little hose to drain the gray water tank. And it is tucked under the van in such a way that it doesn't draw much attention. Notice in this picture how the water supply pipes are banded to the vehicle using a stainless steel cable tie. In the center of the vehicle we have a support hanger which supports both of these pipes as they cross the vehicle. On the driver's side, the same support system is used. I want you to notice the hole right here at the back of this metal plate that comes with the van. Well, the front of this metal plate has the same hole, and the banding strap passes through that hole and wraps around the rubber and secures the pipe securely to the frame of the vehicle. I used a piece of 1/4-inch fiberglass material I had laying around as a mounting plate to mount the water faucets and the electrical connector to the bottom of the van.